Hello, this is Sarah, and for this video I will be telling you about the 9th house, Sagittarius, and Jupiter. So after the 8th house, where we have learned to merge ourselves with another or others and go through a difficult process of regeneration, we are hopefully transformed into a much wiser being when we enter the 9th house. Now this house is this is the house of our philosophy and religion. And unlike its opposite house, the 3rd house, the 9th house is concerned with more abstract thoughts and ideas and concrete. It's the right brain instead of left brain. And this is the house where we seek truth and increasingly try to expand our knowledge of our world. And placements in this house will describe the ways in which we may pursue religious and philosophical ideas and how we process them. It's also simply how we view these subjects in general, such as our overall opinions on religion and the meaning of life. With its opposite being the 3rd house of communication, like I said, basic education and short journeys, which is the 3rd house. The 9th house is the house of higher learning and understanding and long journeys. And higher learning and understanding would be like a college, whereas opposed to the 3rd house is more like grade school. But the 9th house is also of long journeys, such as traveling to far off, distant countries, foreign countries. And this house is not concerned so much with one's immediate environment, but lets us probe and look at our world more objectively, or in a more mature way than we did in the 3rd house. And university or college education plays a role in this house as well. Like I said, this is a very positive house in general. It is where we look to the future with a more positive view. It's all very optimistic, and unlike in the house preceding it, the 8th house. And this house corresponds with the ages of about 40 to 45, and I have always seen this house as the house of the midlife crisis, for that is what the sign Sagittarius, which is of course related to the 9th house, is very much like. And when one thinks of Sagittarius, the term jovial should come to mind, for this sign is usually quite happy and carefree, full of luck. They just kind of dance through life. And Sagittarius, of course, is the most difficult word to spell of the zodiac, most difficult sign to spell in the zodiac. But its glyph represents a pointed arrow of an archer, what the sign is often represented by, which is a centaur archer. And the word Sagittarius is Latin for archer, of course, which makes sense, sagitta, meaning arrow. And the arrow also represents the thigh of a human, which is what the sign rules over in anatomy. So if you've noticed, as I've gone through all of the signs, this starts from the head with Aries, and then go all the way down. And the color for the sign is blue, and its note is G sharp or A flat. And Sagittarius is a mutable masculine fire sign, so individuals with strong placements in the sign can express a very energetic and curious nature. And its definition, or keyword, is I see, which can relate to the objectivity and optimistic nature of this sign. And this sign is all about the love of challenge and freedom, excitement and fun. And as it relates to the 9th house and higher learning, those with strong planets in Sagittarius can be very eager to learn new things, and they just love learning about other cultures and societies, as well as other ways of life. And they're usually quite intelligent. They're able to grasp, broad concepts and abstract ideals. But Sagittarius can probably be argued as the most optimistic sign in the zodiac by far. Its carefree nature and overall adaptability and objectivity make those with strong placements in the sign a lot of fun to be around. This time's optimism can also be its downfall at times, because when we're only looking to the future, we can miss what is right in front of us, what's happening right now. Although since the sign is in the 2nd half of the zodiac, where Gemini, Sagittarius is opposite, Gemini likes to sample everything new. Sagittarians on the other side, they'll follow through anything to the end. They're not so much about samples. When they get an idea in their head, they're going to go to the end. So they're dependable in that way, and they're going to follow through with, an idea that they find interesting. You know, they'll learn all about it. Whereas Gemini, its opposite, is more into, you know, just sampling little things. And this is also a fire sign, though. It's not air. So Sagittarius is more interested in doing and thinking. So they're not so much sampling, like I said. They're more doers. So Sagittarius, it's kind of like a more perseverant Gemini in a way. And this sign does not like to be tied down or confined. It is interested in long journeys and higher education, and being confined is no way for this sign to express itself. In Sagittarius, it's all about the possibilities and the possibilities of experience. You know, it's looking for the future, so it's all about possibilities. And those strong Sagittarius placements can also provide a certain level of humor with everything. For they tend to have a great sense of humor. And this sign can also be rather insensitive at times as well. And as it is a fire sign, like I said, it may have trouble expressing emotions and tends to keep things on a more superficial level. And they are very honest, though, and aim to seek the truth and express truth. So those are the strong Sagittarius placements are dependable in that way. They always tell you the truth. And a possible way in which the 9th house and Sagittarius can keep up with, you know, so much optimism that they represent could be understood through looking at their planetary ruler, which is Jupiter. And Jupiter is an extremely jovial planet, you know, just like the 9th house in Sagittarius. You know, in fact, etymologically, the word jovial comes from the term Jove, which relates to Jupiter, which was the most important god of the Roman and Greek gods, which this planet is, of course, named after. And this planet's glyph is supposed to symbolize the thunderbolts of the god Jupiter, also known as Zeus in Greek mythology, as well as the eagle, another symbol for this particular god. And I don't really see the eagle, but that's what it's supposed to symbolize, I guess. I always like to think of the planet Jupiter as just one big superlative. You know, it's the luckiest, it's the biggest, it's the most optimistic, etc. And it's relatively safe to call this planet the planet of luck and gluttony. And this planet will express itself in times when we have, you know, great luck and everything's to be going the best. But if negatively aspected, this planet can turn its energies into, you know, gluttony, procrastination, and laziness. You know, we get too full of ourselves and we end up procrastinating and are lazy, so we just don't do it. And Jupiter, positioned in one's chart, can tell us in what areas one's luck may be, or in what areas they are lazy or go too far. And like I said, this planet is just one superlative and can indicate areas where we just may go too far. And it encompasses many of the same principles as the 9th house in Sagittarius. So while optimism is good, sometimes too much can turn ugly for us, just like with everything else, two sides. So with that is the end of this video. And in my next video, I will be discussing a little more serious matters with the 10th house, Capricorn, and Saturn. So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe.